and welcome to Pilates. My name is Jane and I'm going to take you through the basics of Pilates, following up with some more videos to actually try and get you to work a little bit harder. This is going to be real basics, showing you how to stand, how to engage your core muscles, and most important, how to breathe. You can do this video as many times as you like, so if you get a little bit lost, you think, oh, don't know, can't remember, rewind or repeat it as many times as you need to before you move on to the next video. So the first thing to do is to stand with your feet hip width distance apart, knees slightly bent. To find hip width distance, pop your feet together, open the heels and open the toes, standing with your feet parallel. I use the feet to find the right position to stand in, because normally you say to someone, put your feet hip width distance apart, they will stand really wide, thinking their hips are very wide. Your hips are actually quite narrow. They go in relation to the size of your feet. So try and just open the heels, open the toes, so that your feet are directly underneath your hip bones, which are here. Then stand up nice and straight, lengthening up through your spine as if there's a piece of string pulling you from the top of your head up towards the ceiling. The first thing we need to do is to find your neutral spine position. So if I turn sideways so you can see, to find neutral, we need to rock your pelvis backwards and forwards, gradually reducing the two movements until you find the midpoint. Now, as you can see, the line of my t-shirt is now lying horizontal. When I was standing normally, it's slightly tilting forward. That's because I stand with my pelvis tilted slightly. Getting it into neutral, it's now leveled off. The t-shirt is at a straight line, so that was quite handy, wasn't it? So to hold that position, this is where we use your core muscles. I want you to imagine you've put a big wide belt on around your waist. You're going to fasten this belt to the 10th hole by pulling your navel in towards your spine as tight as you can. Release your belt to the 5th hole and then release it again to the 3rd hole, so that you're holding your core muscles engaged to about a 30% position. We're going to try and hold that position throughout the exercises. I will keep reminding you because you will forget. As you've engaged your abdominal muscles, so these are your deep core muscles, this is getting in touch with your transverse abdominis, your pelvic floor also engages, but we do need to work it a little bit more. So I want you to imagine your pelvic floor is a lift. You're going to engage your pelvic floor and lift it, pulling it up through your body as high as you can, which would be 100%. Drop it down halfway to the 5th floor of your building, then down to the 3rd floor. So again, you're holding it at a 30% position. Try and hold it there, engage with your tummy muscles, but you'll find you're probably struggling to breathe a little bit, because we normally use our abdominal muscles to breathe with. They go in and out. Your diaphragm goes up and down, which makes your lungs expand and reduce to breathe. For Pilates, we want to keep your tummy muscles still so that we can strengthen them, but we still need the body to breathe, so we need lots of oxygen. So what we do is lateral thoracic breathing. So if you pop your hands onto your ribs, pull your tummy in, breathe in, allowing the air to fill the lungs, open the ribs. As you breathe out, feel the ribs close. And again, another deep breath in and out. So as you can see, my hands come apart as I breathe in. So my rib cage is expanding laterally. So it's going away from the center of my body. I'm trying not to lift the shoulders, just focusing the breath into the ribs. It's quite difficult to keep that breathing going while holding your tummy in place. And that's what makes Pilates quite challenging. But with practice, it does come. It can take a while before the penny drops, but it will happen. Initially, the first few sessions we're going to do, don't worry too much if you don't get the breathing quite right. You will get used to me telling you when to breathe in and when to breathe out. And that will then change, so you will automatically do it. Don't get hung up about it. Just breathe normally if necessary. If you get the breathing the wrong way around, whatever you do, don't hold your breath. Just try and breathe normally. Focus on these tummy muscles mainly. So let's get moving with a little gentle warm up. So standing tall, making sure your pelvis is in neutral. My t-shirt is horizontal, shoulders are relaxed, and gently turn your head from side to side. We're going to start by moving the major joints, starting at the top of the body and working down. Coming back to the center, drop your chin to the chest and lift it back up. Down again and back up. Moving into the shoulders, so rolling your shoulders both together, big circles. It might be a little bit crunchy, particularly if you have not done this before. Work within your comfort range, change direction. That crunchy noise does eventually go away. Gently squeeze your shoulder blades together as you circle the arms. Let's make that movement bigger by bringing your arms up in front and circling them out to the side. So breathing in and out. Try and breathe in through your nose and blow out through your mouth. So you're smelling a rose and blowing out the candle. Nice noisy breathing. Make sure that you breathe at the right time. Change direction. Breathe in and out. Keep the shoulders down. Move your arms in a controlled way. Don't try and throw them around. One of the principles of Pilates is control. So we're trying to control all the movements that you make. Now bring your hands to your thighs, a little side bend. Slide your hand down the side of your leg and then we come up. Repeat to the other side. Still keeping your knees soft and your pelvis in neutral the whole time. Use your head tilted gently towards the shoulder to encourage a little bit more movement into your spine. Now if it feels a little bit tight or nippy in your lower back, just pull your tummy in a little bit more. When the pain is there, that means those muscles are weak. We need to strengthen them. You need to take the pressure off those muscles, taking it from the back to the front. So just engaging those abdominal muscles helps release the pressure off your lower back. Okay, come back to the center. Now let's try and twist. Take your arms out to the side, still with your knees soft. Now focus on the hip bones. Keep your pelvis still. Breathe in as you breathe out. Twist at the waist. Breathe in, come back to the center. Repeat to the other side. Keeping your shoulders relaxed. Breathe out, twist. Breathe in, straighten. Notice the hips shouldn't be moving. So if you're finding you can twist and look behind you, you're not moving from your waist, you're moving from your knees or your ankles. Try and isolate the upper part of the body. So you're looking for that rotation for your upper back. Should feel a gentle pull around the waist. Okay, one more time. And back to the center. Bring the hands to the hips. Moving down to hips, knees and ankles. So what we're going to do today is simple little knee bends, just for you to practice focusing on your neutral spine position. So you're in that position, deep breath in as you breathe out. Just bend your knees, push them over the toes, breathe in as you straighten. As you notice, as I bend my knees, my hips and shoulders are staying in line. I'm not sticking my bum out behind me to go into a squat. I'm not trying to bend my knees too far forward, which would make me lean forward. Try and keep your shoulders and hips immediately above the other as you push your knees over the toes. Use your tummy muscles, pulling in nice and gently. Remember, 30% only, no more. Let's make it a little bit harder. I'm just going to move the camera slightly so you can see. Turn your feet out. As the feet are turned out, we've opened up the legs within the hips. Repeat that knee bend. Push your knees over the toes. Breathing out, breathing in as you straighten. So blow and in. Try and get your knees to go over the toes, a bit like the ballet dancers. Don't let them roll forward, so rotating at your ankles. Keep pushing your knees over your second toe, so try and keep all 5 toes touching the mat. Again, it doesn't need to be massive. Keep your shoulders above your hips. Fab. One more. Okay, staying down at the feet, we're going to just work your ankles and feet a little bit more. The feet are the foundation of the body. Pop your hands onto your hips to help you with balance. We need to strengthen the feet and ankles to keep you strong and to help you to balance. So we're going to do some little heel raises. Breathing in, lift your heels, and breathe out, lower. This movement doesn't need to be massive. What I want you to focus on is trying to keep your ankles as still as possible. So as you lift, watch this is not happening. Try and keep them controlled. So that might mean you only actually lift your heels an inch or 2, or just 2 or 3 centimeters. If you find you are very wobbly, make sure you're engaging those abdominal muscles. Remember your belt. Draw your navel in towards your spine. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, lower. One more time. And then relax. Good. Gives your legs a little bit of a shake. Okay, so we're going to move into a roll down. So standing at the end of the mat, I'll just adjust the camera slightly again for you. So feet parallel, tummy in. Breathe in. As you breathe out, drop your chin to the chest and slowly bend. Take your time. Now you might find you don't go very far. Doesn't matter. Breathe in, long breath out. Keep the knees bent and draw yourself slowly back up to standing. And then repeat. Chin to the chest, slowly bend. You might find you get a little bit further with each one, but it really doesn't matter. It's all about getting this movement into your spine. Tucking the tailbone under as you rebuild your spine slowly. And then straight down into the next one. So we're looking for flowing movement from one rep into the other. And slowly come back up. Now let's add a hamstring stretch. So this time, go to the point that's comfortable to hold. Stay there, straighten your legs, and then just relax into that stretch. Now you're looking to feel it pull right up the back of your legs. Hold and breathe. If you can't touch the floor, fold your arms. So letting the head hang, let your arms just hang. So helping increase the stretch. And then coming down onto the floor. So onto hands and knees. Now if you do have sore knees and find this is too much, miss this section out. Move on to the next exercise. You can have a little breather while we talk about the next exercise. So the next exercise we're going to do is called swimming, modified swimming in tabletop position. So this is your tabletop position. Obvious reasons, you look like you're forming the shape of a table. Hands above the shoulders, knees above the hips. We will start with the legs. I'm just going to move my mat slightly so I don't kick the television. Okay, so we'll start with the legs and then add the arms. Keeping your back as level and as still as you can. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slide the leg back. Breathe in, replace. And change. So alternating left and right. If you find you're very wobbly, you might want to keep the toe on the floor rather than lift it. Keep looking at the mat between your hands. So not dropping your chin to look at your knees. Relax your shoulders. Keeping the back as level and as still as you can, imagining you've got a tray of drinks on your back. Try not to tip your drinks all over the floor. To make it more challenging, add an arm. So as you lift the leg, lift the opposite arm and then replace. This is a great exercise for strengthening lower backs. We don't want want the leg to go too high, otherwise it becomes a glute exercise. We want to strengthen the muscles down each side of your spine in your lower back area. So keep the legs low. Use your tummy and concentrate. Breathe out as you lift. Breathe in as you replace. You then, on an out breath, to repeat to the other side. Keep going if you can. Avoid tucking your toes under to help support you on the floor. So avoid doing that. Try and keep your feet relaxed. Let's go for last two. And last one. Now after each exercise we do a release stretch. Your release stretch for this one is child pose. If you can, sit back towards your heels, lowering your head towards the mat, but concentrate more on pressing your hips down rather than putting your head on the floor and sticking your bum in the air. You're looking to feel a stretch across your lower back area. I'm just going to move the camera down a little bit so you can see better what I'm going to do onto the mat, just to give you a better view. So from your child pose, we're going to come down onto the floor. Oh, I love child pose, it's so good, such a nice stretch. So coming onto your tummy and pop your hands underneath your forehead. We're going to do what's called a diamond press. It's a great exercise for sore back. Pop your hands either overlapping the fingers or making a diamond shape with your fingers. Personally, I like to just overlap my fingers. Rest your head on your hands. Have a roll, flatten yourself to the mat, and then bring your legs tight together. Press your heels together, squeeze your buttocks, pull your tummy in. So you're going to try and lift your navel, pull it towards your spine. You should feel a pelvic tilt. Breathe in. As you breathe out, light pressure through the hands, lift your chest, head and shoulders away from the mat. Important thing is to keep this chin tucked in. Breathe in and breathe out lower. Breathe out as you lift. Breathe in, breathe out lower. Hold while you breathe in to draw the shoulders down towards your hips. Okay, one more time. And rest. Let go. Just a couple of points before we move on. With most of the exercises, we tend to breathe out when you first move. So you're breathing in to prepare, breathe out, move. Quite often you have to hold, breathe in, and then move again on the out breath. Sometimes we breathe out when we move, breathe in as we lower. Back down. There are a number of different variations. Remember, keep breathing. So if you lost the plot and found that you were breathing the wrong way, try again next time. Don't worry about it. It will come. Keep the shoulders down. Always keep your chin tucked in so we lengthen through the back of the neck. Aim your head away across the length of the room. Release stretch. After that one is a child pose. Push back into child pose once again. Coming back down onto your mat, we're going to do a little exercise for your legs. These are called prone leg lifts. Have your feet hip width distance apart. Rest your head on your hands. You can have your head straight if you prefer, as that takes the pressure off the back of your neck, or you can lie with your head turned to the side if it's comfortable. That helps relax the muscles in your upper back so that you can concentrate on your lower back and your glutes and legs. So in this position, I want you to engage those tummy muscles again. So draw the navel up to your spine, squeeze your bum, breathe in. As you breathe out, just lift one leg, breathe in, put it down, and change legs. Trying not to let your pelvis tilt as you lift the leg. Watch for it wanting to roll or rock forward. Squeeze your bum, press firmly into the mat. Breathing out as you lift, in as you lower. Now if you feel any discomfort here, it means your glutes are not working. So if you pop your hands underneath your hips, you're angling your pelvis posteriorly, it will make you work your glutes a little bit more. You can see the difference, I'm sure, in my glutes as I lift the leg compared to when my hands were underneath my forehead. You can really feel it working into these gluteal muscles. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. Last two. And last one. And relax. Well done. You need to release your back again. If you can go onto hands and knees, come up onto them for a cat stretch. If it's too sore for hands and knees, go back into child pose. A cat stretch, we arch the spine and tuck in the chin and your tailbone. Then slowly take the stretch the other way. Let the tummy drop, lift the chin, look up. Arching your spine again. And one more time, just let the tummy drop and look up. And then relax. Now let's get you over onto your back. So I'm just going to swing my legs around a little bit and lie down. So new position. First thing we need to do is to find neutral. You might find you need a block underneath your head. So if you feel you're lying a bit like that, have a towel, small towel folded up, or a small cushion or a book to rest your head on. Slide the shoulders down. You should automatically go into neutral as you press your shoulders back and down. But if you want to make sure that you are in neutral or still not quite sure where you need to be, rest your hands on the front of your tummy so that your middle fingers rest towards your pubic bone, the heel of the hands on the hips, your thumbs together. Then tilting the pelvis, so you're going to press your lower back into the mat and then gently rock it back the other way. So push your pubic bone towards your heels. Gradually reduce those two movements until you feel that your pelvis is lying level and that your hands are lying horizontally. When you find that position, your hip bones and pubic bones should be level. You should have a hollow in the small of your back. But you should still feel the sacrum, which is the flat triangular bit at the bottom of your spine, touching the floor, and also your ribs. But you don't want to be in that position where you're compressing your lower back into the mat. That only makes you hurt your back, doesn't work your core. So find that level position. You can move your hands then up to the ribs and practice your breathing. So tummy in, breathe in and out. So feeling that your rib cage is expanding and reducing. Letting the shoulders relax. You might want to turn your head a couple of times to each side just to release any tension that might be there. Now the first exercise we're going to do in this position is a classic Pilates exercise called the 100, but we're only going to do a low level. It's called the 100 because you hold for 10 long breaths, counting to 5 with each breath in and each breath out. And as you do that 10 times, you count to 100. We're going to do 5 with one leg and 5 with the other. So keeping the hands there, breathe in As you breathe out, float one leg up into tabletop so the knee joint is above the hip with your shin parallel to the ceiling, and hold. And breathe in for 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out. Replace the foot to the floor, change feet. Let's repeat. Breathe in for 5 and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and replace the foot back down. If you feel that you struggled a little bit, don't worry, you might need to just do 3 breaths with each leg and gradually build it up to 5. If you start to shake at any time, stop. The shaking is your body telling you you've done enough. So depending on how strong you are to start off with, work within your body's capabilities. So if that shakiness starts, stop, even if it's only after 2 or 3 breaths. You build up to 10 breaths, 5 with one leg, 5 with the other. Then we'll build it up to both legs in the air, but not yet. Have a stretch. Slide the legs down one at a time. Take your arms over your head and stretch. As you stretch, for your full body stretch, press your lower back into the mat so the stretch goes down here. Flex your feet, pull the toes towards you, and reach your arms over your head. Lovely. And then relax. Excellent. Let's roll onto your side. We're going to do a side kick next. So again, new position, find neutral. Stretch the legs out, stack the joints. You want the hips and shoulders one on top of the other. It's very instinctive to end up leaning back onto your bum. Try and bring that top hip forward so that you've stacked the hip joints. Use this arm as a pillow, but you could cradle the arm like that if you wanted to cradle your head. You could put a cushion under your head with your arm out in front, whatever feels comfortable for you. Other hand on the floor in front, stick your elbow out, watch the shoulders not round your ear, draw the shoulder down. We're going to engage those tummy muscles again. Make sure the legs are slightly forward so when you look down you can see your toes. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lift the top leg hip height, hold and breathe. If you can, lift the other leg too. Bring your toes to meet. If you can't, or you think, oh, that's too much, bring that leg back down. Concentrate on lifting and holding the top leg. As you've lifted leg or legs, we're going to hold again for between 15 and 20 breaths this time. It's quite a long time, much longer than the 100. Use your tummy, use your pelvic floor, and breathe slowly, focusing the breath into the ribs. Breathing in through your nose, out through the mouth. Keep going. If you start to get a little bit too shaky, feel free to put the bottom leg down. If you're only working with the top leg and still starting to get a little bit shaky, stop, relax. Your relaxation position, when you've had enough, is to bring the legs down and bend the top leg forward into recovery position to relax these muscles. That exercise works the waist, your lower back and your thigh. Just have a little breather for a minute. And then we'll finish with a quad stretch. Not really the release stretch for this exercise, but I do find it's a nice position to do your quad stretch instead of trying to lie on your front or even to do it standing. So reach down, grab hold of the foot and just pull the heel towards your bum. Try not to have your knee forward. Try and get your knee back behind your hip if possible. You're looking to feel the stretch here. Now, if you have problem knees and you can't reach, just press your foot behind you. You're still going to get the stretch in that spot. And then relax it down. Let's do the other side. Take your time to swap yourself round. Either roll over or swap ends of the mat. So again, using your arm as a pillow, stretch your legs out, hand on the floor in front. Tummy in, breathe in. As you breathe out, lift the top leg hip height. Hold. If you can, bring the other leg up beside it. And hold. And breathe. Nice deep breaths. If you're a little bit shaky or you're struggling, put the bottom leg down. If you can't get both legs up, don't worry, it doesn't matter. At this point, it will come. Now, as I said, this works the lower back muscles and your waist, so you should feel it all around this area. Check you're not rolling back onto your buttock. Try and get right up onto that hip. And breathe. Nice deep breaths. Remember, between 15 to 20 breaths if possible. If you don't get that far today, don't worry, it will come. This is one that works very quickly. You will start to feel it get easier very quickly. If you need to put the bottom leg down, do. If you've both feet in the air, try and keep your toes touching. Lengthen and stretch through both legs. And if you start to shake, feel free to rest. When you've finished or don't think you've done sufficient, rest that top leg forward into recovery position to relax the muscles all around your hip. And then do your quad stretch. So reach the foot, pull the heel in. You might have to grab your trousers or your sock, or just bend the knee and press the leg back behind you. So feeling that stretch down the front of your thigh. And then relax. Excellent. Roll back onto your back into a knees to chest stretch. So hugging the knees in tight. You could lift the head and shoulders if it's comfortable. If it's too much for your neck, keep your head down. And then bring your feet back to the floor. So coming back to that base position, something underneath your head if you need to. The next exercise we're going to go into is called hip rolls. This is to get some rotation into your body. Again, it's still a core strength exercise. Just rest your arms out to the side and bring your feet together. Resting the back of the head on the floor or on your head support. Squeeze your legs together, engage your tummy. We're going to try and move from the waist. So breathing in to prepare. As you breathe out, just gently let your knees roll to one side, allowing your pelvis to lift at the opposite side, just a little. Hold, breathe in, breathe out, use your tummy, draw your legs back to the start position and repeat to the other side. And slowly back. Keep your shoulders pressing back and down into the floor. Push your ribs down. So you don't want to be going right over like that. That's a stretch, not a core strength exercise. Keep your movements small. So your knees should go from 12 o'clock to either 10 past or 10 to on a clock face. So it's a very small movement, but keep pressing your ribs down into the mat. Nice and gently. This is where you should feel it into your obliques. So it's the muscles that come from your pubic bone up over your hip bones. So it's nice and slowly. 6 or 7 times to each side. And then back to the center. Bring your hands back down by your sides. Keep your feet together, but open your knees slightly. You'll need to bring your feet a little bit closer to your hips. We're going to do a little pelvic tilt now to loosen up the lower back. So this is a preparation for a shoulder bridge. Engage your tummy, breathe in, tilt the pelvis this time, flattening your lower back into the mat. Squeeze your bum and just lift your hips 2 finger widths off the mat. So you haven't moved your ribs, just your pelvis. Hold, breathe in, push your lower back into the mat and rock your pelvis back to neutral. And again, so tilt, squeeze your bum, lift your hips, watch the knees aren't touching. Hold, breathe in, push your lower back into the mat and rock your pelvis back to neutral. And again, number 3, tilt, squeeze and lift. Breathe in, press the lower back down, rock your pelvis back to neutral. Fab. One more time. Tilt, squeeze and lift. Breathe in, lower, and gently rock back to neutral. Perfect. Let's take it up a level. Take your feet hip width distance apart, making sure they're quite close to your hips. We're going to lift the hips as high as possible this time. Use these tummy muscles, squeeze your buttocks, pelvic floor. Breathe in, tilt. Breathe out, squeeze and lift your hips, peeling your spine up off the floor as if lifting a bicycle chain. Hold, breathe in at the top. Breathe out, roll your spine down slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. Try and segment your spine. Press your lower back into the mat and roll your pelvis back to neutral. And repeat. So breathe in to tilt, breathe out, squeeze and peel the spine away from the floor. Come up as high as you can. Squeeze your bum, press your hips to the ceiling. Firm pressure through both feet. Watch the knees are not dropping out. Bring them closer. Breathe in and breathe out. Roll your spine down slowly. Concentrate on segmenting your spine. Push your back into the mat. Roll your pelvis back to neutral. Let's go for 2 more. So tilt, squeeze, peel up. Hold. Breathe in and breathe out, roll down slowly. Press your lower back into the floor, roll your pelvis back to neutral. If you find it's painful, go back to the low level, the really tiny lift that we did before this one, so that you're not putting too much pressure into your back. Hold that up position, breath in. And breathe out, roll your spine down slowly. Push your lower back into the mat and roll back to neutral. Knees to chest stretch to release. Hug the knees in gently, just to release your back. You might want to have a little gentle roll from side to side. Okay, bringing your feet back down to the floor. We're just going to finish off with a couple of stretches for your legs. Bringing the soles of the feet together, let your knees drop, 1 to each side. So this is an inner thigh stretch. Let the weight of your knees stretch your inner thighs. So don't force the knees down, just relax into it. You can relax your tummy now and just breathe. Bringing your knees back together. The last stretch is for your outer thighs or your glutes or piriformis. Pop your right foot across your left knee and either push that knee away with your right hand or reach down, grab hold of the left leg even, and pull towards your left shoulder. So this stretches into your buttock. If you can't manage that because it's quite tough, just concentrate on pressing that away. This will open up this area Stretch into the hip, which in time means you'll get both hands through behind your thigh to pull the knee towards you, gives you a much bigger stretch. Really good stretch to do if you've suffered from sciatica at any time in your life, which is extremely uncomfortable and can be very painful. And then change feet. Left foot onto the right knee. Again, press the knee away with your left hand, or both hands behind and gently pull. So both hands are behind the right thigh. You're aiming to pull your right knee towards your right shoulder. It's very easy to start to twist. Try and pull that knee towards this shoulder to increase the stretch. So if it's not going to happen, just push that knee away with your hand. And then relax. It's very important that you take a few minutes now to relax. Lying in this position, which is called your base position, is the ideal position to let your spine rest. It's not actually doing any work. The muscles around your spine are supporting your back. If you rest the hands onto the front of the hips, it relaxes your shoulders. And if you want to, just close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And with a long, slow breath out, relax. Just let yourself sink down into the floor. Nice, relaxed breathing. Just breathing normally. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Relax your arms, your shoulders, your feet, your calf muscles, your thighs, and let your hips sink down into the floor. Let your head gently roll from side to side. Check you're not frowning or gritting your teeth. And breathe normally. Try not to control your breath, but being aware of your breath going in and out. And with each breath out, relax a little more. You can take your time, you can lie like this for as long as you feel you need to. Between 5 and 10 minutes is quite nice. And when you're ready to move again, just wiggle the fingers and toes and have a stretch. So just introducing movement back into the body slowly. Big stretch, full body stretch is nice. Or you might want to do any of the others that we've done throughout this session. An east to chest stretch or a child pose even. When you're ready to come up, take your time. Roll onto your side first. Using your hands, push yourself up into a sitting position and come up gently. I hope you've enjoyed your first session. We will add more things to this as time goes on. If you need to repeat this as many times as you need to till you can understand what we're trying to do, please do. I look forward to seeing you again in session number 2. Thank you everybody. Take care now. Bye.